I've enjoyed the presentations earlier today and hope Bill will convince Naomi and everyone else to join our Masters community by the end of this presentation and continue your aquatics journey. I am Nadine Day from the United States. I'm USMS past president and a member of the UANA Masters Technical Committee, and will be moderator for today's presentation, Swimming for Life. This presentation will be done in English. You can listen to this presentation in Spanish by clicking on the interpretation icon at the bottom of your computer. If you're using a phone, at the bottom of the screen, there's 3 dots. Click it, a translation screen will pop up, then select the language. Use your Q&A box to enter any questions. We'll be answering questions at the end of the presentation. It is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Bill Brenner from the United States. Bill is the Chief Operating Officer and Education Director of United States Masters Swimming. He has over 35 years of experience coaching swimming at the age group level, college, and master's level. He is a certified level 4 USMS coach. Bill has been involved in the evolution of US Masters Coach Certification course curricula and has taught hundreds of classes to thousands of coaches around the world. Bill has established the USMS Adult Learn to Swim certification program and serves as a lead instructor. With the knowledge acquired from coaching and doing 20+ Masters clinics each year, Bill recently wrote, Teaching Masters Coaches How to Run a Successful USMS Stroke Development Clinic. Bill serves as an ambassador and an advocate for USMS by visiting hundreds of existing clubs and workout groups and establishing new programs. He has spoken at various national aquatic conferences. Prior to joining USMS staff, Bill served as a volunteer at his club, at the local level, regional level, and national level. He has been a swim meet director, a support team staff member, and a coach at his local program, the Sarasota YMCA Sharks Masters. Bill enjoys sharing his passion for swimming with others by encouraging adults to swim for life. I am honored to introduce my friend, Bill Brenner. Thanks.
Thank you, Nadine. What a great introduction. I appreciate that. I also appreciate the fact that UANA has invited me to speak today at your conference. I think there's some important things to understand when it relates to master swimming. I'm not sure all of you have experience with it. I can see some of you from your names on the screen here that you do, which is great. Some of you I don't know, but I think it's important to understand why swimming for adults is something that is important, not only for them, but for your community. And it's a lifelong skill that we should be promoting and encouraging adults to do. So let me get my screen share up here and we'll begin this presentation. Nadine, is that showing up okay? Very good. All right. Moving forward. Of course. We're going to have to do it this way. All right. First, as an individual, as a coach especially, and maybe a swimmer, we need to understand why adults should swim. This presentation is going to touch base on some of these key issues. And what is fitness swimming? You know, isn't all swimming fitness swimming? Well, maybe yes, maybe no, depending on the circumstances. And then as coaches and as individuals, as leaders in our communities, we need to understand some of the basic health benefits of swimming. And then what are the benefits of an actual fitness program in your community at your aquatic facility? And one bullet point I don't have here that we're going to definitely talk about at the end is what call of action can you take today back with you to your federation in order to improve the opportunities for adults to become swimmers and have that lifelong skill of being able to enjoy the water like many of us do right now. Well, one thing, it's a life-saving skill. It's a lifelong skill, but more importantly, life-saving skill. I was blown away when I first started getting involved with understanding how important it is for adults to swim. I always had this impression that most of the time it was children drowning. But the case is, it's not mostly kids, it's mostly adults. Unfortunately, many times it's that adult trying to save one of their own children and dies in the process. So, as an organization that supports swimming, not only as U.S. Master Swimming does, but worldwide as UANA does and as FINA does, I think it's important to understand we want to try to reduce the risk of drowning and make more adults and children safer in and around the water. Another statistic I think is very important that many of our worldwide partners don't understand is there was a report done by USA Swimming, and this is the statistic. If an adult in the household does not know how to swim, there's only a 13% chance that the child in that household will ever learn how to swim. And as an organization, I'm very proud that what US Master Swimming has done by trying to flip this by teaching adults to swim. And I know many of your federations are doing the same thing. And if you aren't, please do, because think of the impact. If you can teach someone, an adult, how to swim, all of a sudden that 13% chance goes to 87% chance that a child will learn how to swim in that household. That's extremely impactful. So understanding some of these numbers, I think, is extremely key to understanding why we should be promoting adult swimming in any case possible. Do adults want to swim? Well, we know it's good for them, but do many adults really think in the back of their mind this is a good activity for them? Well, another report that was done early in 2011 showed that swimming is one of the most popular form of exercise for adults. Now, this doesn't mean that they were just talking to people that knew how to swim. They were actually talking to every adult. What kind of exercise, if you were going to do you think would be most beneficial to you? And even adults that couldn't swim recognized the fact that swimming is an extremely important form of exercise that would probably benefit them. So once again, it's a huge market of, do adults actually want to swim? The answer is yes. What's fitness swimming? Well, fitness is the condition of being physically fit and healthy. Okay. We think about reasons why we go to the pool. One of them is to be physically fit. And what's the impact of that? Well, fitness swimming involves a couple of things. One, it's an aerobic activity. We get to figure out what level of swimming is going to be impactful for the adult. And even if they're swimming at a very low pace, it's still going to be elevating their heart rate to a point where they're going to be able to improve their endurance, and they're going to be able to swim longer, and they're going to be able to swim more comfortably. And then this kicks in a whole lot of things that, I'm not a physician like Jim Miller, who's watching this presentation, can understand how impactful in better shape can be, and what that means by improving your aerobic system. Look at it, strengthens the diaphragm muscles when you're going to swim. It improves the exchange of air in the lungs. And in this day and age of COVID, I think we really understand how important it is to be healthier, to try to eliminate some of the underlying issues that lead to a more severe risk of COVID problems if indeed you do contract it. Once again, it strengthens the heart, improves the circulatory blood flow, and it even impacts the red blood cell count by improving that aerobic activity. 3 things here. We got physical, we got mental, and emotional and social benefits of this fitness swimming. because it's more than just going to the pool and going back and forth and saying, hey, I'm better now. Let's talk about these three and go through these one at a time. All right, physical. Look what it can do. You know, in many instances, it can lower blood pressure. It can reduce bad cholesterol and raise good cholesterol, aids in weight loss and weight maintenance. And it's much easier on the joints than impact sports like running because it reduces the weight bearing activity when you're in the water and kind of having that medium outside of the bounds of gravity. So why are these good things? Well, to understand this, this may be a reason why somebody wants to come to swim. They may want to help with their weight maintenance. They may want to try to get off of their cholesterol medications. Different adults have different reasons for swimming and can set different types of goals other than competitive swimming and just trying to get faster. You know, when I teach the coach certification, you know, I want our coaches to understand you're not going to make every swimmer faster, but can you make every swimmer better? And the answer is yes. It's just finding out what better means to the swimmer, not to you as a coach necessarily, but recognizing maybe some other ways to measure the success of a fitness swimming program for your athletes besides just swimming faster or swimming longer. I love this. I mean, how many times have you looked at somebody's picture, not mine necessarily, but somebody's, and said, boy, they sure look good for their age. Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. They're that old? Well, there's a good chance that if they're a swimmer, this has definitely helped slow the aging process because there have been studies that show the loss of muscle mass in somebody that's not sedentary is extremely less than those adults that just sit around on the couch or are, you know, sitting in front of their computer. So it definitely does slow the aging process. And this is kind of one of the reasons why. And it's kind of a fun thing to think about. You know, when every adult comes to a practice, when it comes to swimming, did they get better? Yes. Did they get younger? Well, they maybe didn't get older as fast. So it's one of those things where slower is better. And I try to impress that upon some of the athletes that come and say, "Oh, Bill, Coach Brenner, I'm just getting slower as I get older." I'm saying getting slower in some things is better than getting faster in others. And slowing the aging process, I think, is a huge selling point for the sport of swimming, especially for fitness swimming. How about some mental health benefits of swimming? This guy looks pretty happy. Well, I think these are some of the best benefits to sell to adults who are interested in maybe taking up a fitness swimming program. I think it's going to help reduce stress. I think it's time that people can get disconnected in an over increasingly connected world, especially nowadays when we spend so much time behind our computer screens away from our loved ones, our families, as we isolate in many cases, as we try to stay socially distanced from one another. And I think if we get to the pool and we can, I think it's extremely beneficial and a mental health benefit. It's been shown to reduce depression and anxiety, and it improves your self-control and your willpower, which then translate into other lifestyle challenges and changes. Here's the thing. Think about it. I see so many adults when they come to the pool and they want to start a fitness program, they say, okay, I am coming to do this. Okay, you're doing this. This may be, I want to be able to swim for an hour. I want to be able to swim more comfortably. Great. Next thing you know, they're trying to improve themselves in the water, but they know that they plateau a little bit with what they can do and the amount of time they spend in the water. So all of a sudden, they're looking for what else can I do outside of the swimming that's going to help me improve my physical fitness, my swimming, and going to get me somewhere faster than if I just swam and maybe got somewhere slower. Well, what are some of those other changes, those self-control things? In my book, there's quite a few, and a couple of them that come to mind are the fact that, well, what about my sleeping habits? Am I getting the right amount of sleep? Am I eating healthy? Am I taking the time to take time for myself outside of just going to the pool for a swim? Lifestyle changes that can impact the physical fitness of the swimming, and it's kind of a great circle of life to it, where one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, they do have the willpower that they may not have had before to drop a bad habit, say stop smoking. So there's things that happen when you do start swimming, and this willpower really is a very powerful mechanism to make lifestyle changes. Um, People come and love the repetitive nature of swimming back and forth. They love the repetitive nature of swimming in an open water. It's something that it takes them away from some of that anxiety that they may have in their everyday lives. And when they improve, it improves their self-esteem. So beyond the fact that they're swimming better, they feel better about themselves. Maybe they look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? I've seen some change in this. I'm proud of what I'm doing. And it lends to the fact that it just keeps growing, and one thing leads to another. So people are very happy about the outcome of what's going on. And when they don't, when they have setbacks, that's understandable. And that's when a good coach comes in to kind of help them over these humps and get them back on track. It also improves mental toughness. When you're in the pool trying to do something and you overcome that obstacle of getting better or improving step by step, hey, that leads to maybe having that self-esteem slash mental toughness outside of the pool, where people feel that they can take on challenges and overcome some of the obstacles they may face in their daily lives. So the mental side of swimming benefits, a lot of it is in the swimmers' heads, but as coaches and as leaders of aquatic programs, you need to understand this is what you should be doing to try to really improve people's um, swimming fitness and their ability to understand why they're swimming. Oh, here's another good one. There was a study done in the Journal for Alzheimer's Disease, and it shows that adults with a higher disposition towards dementia and Alzheimer's had a significant reduction in the on the onset of severity of symptoms when regularly participating in an exercise such as swimming. So once again, is there a health benefit? Is there a mental benefit? Absolutely. And some of these studies are showing us how it can impact different populations and populations that we may see on a regular basis in our programming. We swim for fun in many cases. It's a great opportunity for us to surround yourself with like-minded adults. That's always a pleasure that people are in it for the same thing. We're all at the end of the lane line, or the end of the line, end of the pool, huffing and puffing, and we share some of those same challenges. And it's fun to overcome some of those challenges within the pool, or challenges that we have with a coach that may be trying to give us all a little bit of a hard time, trying to do things that we may or may not want to do. But next thing you know, when one person's doing it, it kind of that penguin effect, when that first penguin in a big flock of penguins, I guess they're called a flock, gets that edge of that iceberg and about to jump in over that cliff and into the water to go hunt for some food. It's the first one that's the bravest, and then all of a sudden you get that whole flow of the other penguins following the first one. And sometimes that's what we need, when we need to surround ourselves with like-minded adults that are going to push us and pull us in the direction that we probably or may not be willing to go without the help of others. Hey, it's fun when we're swimming too. We get to use toys. We get to use things like kickboards and pull buoys, fins. And as coaches, I know we have many coaches that try to keep people from using these toys. Don't let them use the toys, because if that's what keeps them coming back to the pool and enjoying their workout, so be it. It's a fun thing to be able to use some of these things. Makes them feel like they're a little faster, a little higher on the top of the water, whatever the case may be. Let them enjoy the fact that they're swimming and being better. So swimming can be just fun, and boy, it's something else that you can do outside when it's dark. I mean, I don't know of too many runners that really enjoy running when it's dark, or cyclists, just from the fear factor of an accident. But swimming wise, we can do that outside. Even if it's cold a little bit, well, let's hope the water is the right temperature so that we don't decide not to go swim. And once, like I said, everybody's on that same wall. It's very uniting, not dividing. You know, the beauty of swimming is everybody's in a bathing suit. Now that may sound a little weird, but it's not. It's all the people shed all of um, their outside lives in many cases. So you may be in the pool with a doctor, a lawyer, a school teacher. No matter what your profession is, everybody is looking the same, and it's nice because those walls of prejudice kind of come down, and it's a wonderful thing. It's very uniting, um, and it's a lifetime sport. It's something that many adults can do for well into their 80s, 90s, even hundreds, because it is at their pace, and it is such a more of a non-weight bearing activity. Um, and there's some flotation devices that people can use if they're having trouble staying on top of the water. And hey, good news. We love the fact that people can do it for a lifetime. Studies have also shown that adults who participate with a group are more likely to continue that participation. In the coach certification, I like to tell this story that so many times when we're running a master's practice, and there's maybe I'll approach somebody that's doing some lap swimming and invite them to come join our master's practice, and they'll tell me, you know what, I'm interested in your master's practice, but I really want to get in shape first before I come join you. Well, after 30 years of coaching, I've never had one person who ever told me that as a lap swimmer, come join my master's group, my master's team, my master's program. Because in many cases, they never did get in shape or never felt that they were in good enough shape. And so they probably dropped their fitness regime of swimming and lost the opportunity then to come swim with the master's program, because they had already told me, I'm coming when I'm in shape. And now that they're not in shape or haven't continued their swimming, they don't feel like they can step on, join me, because they're just not in that shape that they promised that they would be prior to them joining. So once again, we don't want them to just be lap swimmers if we can get them in one of our programs. I think one of the benefits is having a coach on deck that can watch their technique, help them avoid injury, because so many injuries are caused by poor technique. And can we make it more fun for them and more challenging than just if they're lap swimming on their own? More than likely, yes. That's why I think they'll continue the participation if they get to swim with a group. They like to find a social value in the activity, and they have and look for a positive outlook on what they're doing with that participation. Adults only have so much time to devote to things uh, that are outside of maybe their profession, outside of their family, outside of their other daily lives. So when they do participate in an activity like master swimming or fitness swimming, they want to make sure that they're getting their bang for their buck. And a lot of times that social value that they find in joining a group uh, gives them that sense of, hey, I've accomplished something today. I am better than I was yesterday for it, and I'm going to continue the participation. And you as a coach, or you as a leader of a program, an aquatic facility, whatever your case may be, I think you maintaining that positive and balanced environment and making it accessible to everyone, but making it fair to everyone, and making it um, not polarizing, so people don't feel like they can participate. Sometimes it's a tricky situation, but that's what the leadership needs to do of your facility, of your program. It's a program. Okay, here's the four things we're going to talk about. Sorry, let me just back up. I got excited when I saw Mel Goldstein's name. It's a program. You know, that's what a master's program is. It's a program for adults who have chosen swimming as a form of exercise to live a healthier lifestyle. It's more than just swimming being for being a swimmer. It's the lifestyle that swimming can create for somebody. It's diverse. It can generate revenue, and it is a tremendous community service for the people that live within distance of your aquatic facility or have access to your program. We'll delve into these a little bit. Why is it a program? Well, it's a program like Mel says, for people that have chosen swimming as a form of exercise. Well, first and foremost, they got to be able to know how to swim. And I think as U.S. Masters Swimming has found, and we've been promoting swimming now. We celebrated our 50th anniversary last year as an organization that encourages adults to swim. That's great. And I'm so proud of our organization for also including the fact that we teach adults to swim, because you can enjoy swimming, and we can't seem to really encourage people to get into the pool if they don't know how to swim. So we've supported the Adult Learn to Swim programs through our Adult Learn to Swim certification program, through our grant program to incubate new Adult Learn to Swim programs at facilities throughout the United States. And this isn't something that can't be modeled after in other federations. We would love to help you set up these programs because there is tremendous benefit for the community as well as the adult. So they're swimming for the fitness and competition. And the good news is you can measure your goals. Every adult is going to come to swimming with potentially a different goal. Some will want to compete. Some will want to just get off their medications. Some will want to lose weight. Some will just want to feel that they are accepted in a social setting. So there's different ways of measuring different people's goals and whether or not they've had some success. I'm not going to read these, they're on the screen right here, but those are important to understand. Adults come to the pool with a different set of goals than others, and are motivated by different goals. And why do they want to be part of the program? I think the most important part of it is the socialization. If people like to feel that they belong somewhere, that they're accepted somewhere, that they're contributing to the group, whether it's leading the lane, whether it's helping the new person in that lane that's just come to your fitness program understand the nomenclature and the language, the workout, because we do have our own language in swimming that many adults don't understand, especially if a coach is writing something up on a board. And that coach is very important. Some people need somebody to motivate them, and they want somebody that's holding them accountable to show back up, and somebody that's going to recognize the fact that they actually were there. We stress how important it is in programs throughout our organization that a coach recognizes each and every person that shows up at that practice and recognizes them by name and finds something positive that they have done that day. Because in many cases, coming to a program, a swim program might be the most positive thing and that the person has done that entire day. And it may be the only time that entire day that anybody gives them any positive feedback of something that they've done well. That's what a coach does. That's why people want to come to a coached workout. It's not only the challenge, it's not only the structure, but it's the motivation that the coach provides and the measure of success that the coach can give each and every one of the adults. I love a routine. Ask my wife. Swimmers are big on routines. They want to know what their schedule is. They want to know they swim Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. They know that what they're going to eat ahead of time, what they're going to eat afterwards, what bathing suits they're going to bring, what goggles are. I mean, they're very routine driven, and a master's program is definitely lends to the ability for somebody to keep on that routine. Here's when practices are, and here's when we're going to measure your fitness level. Here's the challenges that the coach is going to give, and here's how we're going to measure success. Once again, they want to be part of a group of like-minded adults. Adults like to learn from one another. Sometimes they might just be watching within the lane or listening to a coach describe something to another swimmer in another lane. And maybe they'll adopt something that they learned and just, adults tend to be thirsty for knowledge, and they like the opportunity to learn new things and maybe make some self-improvements. Once again, that's totally up to them. Many adults want to experience a new challenge. You know, if you look at the age sweet spot, so to speak, for our organization at US Masters Swimming, it seems like that 45 to 60 range is the top of the bell curve of age. And a lot of times it's after you've raised your family, after you're in a more secure situation with your profession. You are sometimes looking to go back to some new challenges that you may not have been able to take on during your years from 20 to say 40 to 45. So now's the time maybe you want to devote some attention to yourself. And this is a great opportunity to get back into the pool if you do have some swimming experience, or even if you don't, that this is a great opportunity to find new ways to motivate yourself to be a better person, whether that means as an athlete or just in a health situation. Hey, you get to swim relays. That's always fun. You don't have to do it yourself, especially if you want to compete. I think that's how I get a lot of people to start their first journey into the competitive world is, hey, we're going to do some relays. It's not just you out there maybe finishing last. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. Adults don't like being embarrassed. But if you can get them with a group of other people and they can share in the fact that they're on a team doing a team activity, I think you'll find that people will take that step into competition and maybe not be so afraid to do it once they've experienced it. The other part is many adults can't gain access to the facility at the times that they have availability. So, for example, if a master's program is securing the pool in the morning and that's when you have time to do it, good news. You're going to be able to swim versus, oh, geez, what if I go for lap swimming and the pool is full and I don't get a lane? What if I can't go between my work hours or the hours that I'm taking care of my family? So it secures time so that once again, it can work into your routine. So you're not just out there wondering if I'm going to swim the day or not. And then all of a sudden 2 days go by, a week goes by, a month goes by. Next thing you know, you don't even think about going to swim. And now all of a sudden, it's going to be too hard to get back in shape. I'll just find something else to do. And then they never do. So love being part of a program. and then a successful program. So all of a sudden you're saying, great, what do I do now? How do I get this program going that I can encourage adults to come swim at for the variety of reasons? Well, one thing that we're finding is you need some leadership, and it usually comes in the form of a coach, somebody that understands the sport of swimming, understands technique, how to help people become better. And what that better means is up to the adult. And helps that goal setting. And because goals tend to be the one thing that can motivate the swimmer to come back and reach those goals. And then a coach also can recognize in the athlete or the swimmer or you know things that that swimmer might be able to do that the swimmer themselves can't recognize that they can do themselves on their own. So if somebody's never swum butterfly before, but you notice as a coach that they have that skill, if they would just take the time to do it and you broke the stroke down, all of a sudden you've got this swimmer swimming butterfly. And once again, it's just a great self-esteem builder for that athlete, for that swimmer, and also the fact that it helps somebody overcome a challenge that maybe they'll take back with them in their everyday lives. And you set a standard of excellence, because you're the CEO on that pool deck, and you're running things the way you think it needs to be run for the benefit of the athletes, the swimmers, and your program. So you lead from by example, and leadership starts at the top, and you bring that to that program every day, and you'll have a successful program. And you need a pool, in a stable pool situation, because if you're going to hold practices on a daily basis or a certain schedule throughout the week, you need that pool to be open when athletes are showing up to use it, because it's very discouraging if people are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it might be to get to the pool for a 5:30 a.m. workout and the pool is not available. Well, it won't take long for those athletes to say, you know what, I'm not going to the pool because I'm not going to be able to swim. So the administration is very important. They're a key partner in the success of a program. And you want to make sure that you have a great relationship with the administration of the aquatic facility. You want your program to be financially stable. That means that you pay your bills, that you have enough revenue to support the program, or you've reduced the expenses to a level that you can afford to run your program at the facility. And you want to involve others. Many coaches think they want to do it all themselves, or some of the top leadership, like say an aquatic facility. Remember, we're working with adults here, and adults bring such a wide range of backgrounds that probably have some experience and maybe have some talents in areas where the leadership doesn't, where the coach doesn't. Will they do it as well as you? Maybe yes, maybe no. But sharing the ownership of the program with the people participating makes the program stronger. Uh, it may take some effort on the leadership's part or the coach's part, but in the long run, you will have a more sustained program when you do share the ownership with the people participating. Well, you got to make it fun, and because so many people come for the socialization, and it's not always just on the pool deck. It's not always just in the water. You've got to do your job as leadership and as coaches to bring it off the pool deck almost as much as you do on the pool deck. So you do have to try to understand what your adults would like to do besides swim, and then encourage them to do that socialization. And once again, here's a great opportunity, if that's not your strong suit, to have another volunteer within your group take on some of these responsibilities and be the organizing partner for you to improve the ability for people to do things that make this whole program more fun. April is Adult Learn to Swim Month. with US Master Swimming. And what that means is we're trying to get more adults to be able to swim year round. But in April, we have a concerted effort to try to engage our programs, our master's programs, to give back to their communities by offering free swim lessons to adults. Great opportunity for a volunteer opportunity for our master's swimmers, because so many of them love the opportunity to give back to the community, give back in a meaningful way, because they know how much they love the sport of swimming, the opportunity that swimming gives them, that they want to share with others, and are more than willing to participate as a volunteer in some of our adult learn to swim initiatives. It can also be a fundraiser for your program. And we have a fitness series challenge that 3 times a year, there's different levels of challenges that your federation can certainly model after as an opportunity to give people a goal, and give your coaches and give your programs a method and an opportunity to show people, hey, we're participating in something, let's train for this. It's something that can be done at your own pool. So it's kind of like a competition, but it's more of a challenge than a competition. And diversity, our programs, and we hope all the programs around the world, are open to everyone. That's what makes a successful program. We don't want to build walls. We want to build opportunities for people to swim. And the only walls we want to deal with are the ones at the ends of the pool. And if we can continue to open up those opportunities, I think more adults will feel more willing to try it and come and not be judged, and feel that no matter what their background is, that they're going to be welcomed on our pool decks. So very important for a successful trait. And this diversity, when we talk about it, it's just not the backgrounds, because that's the 4th bullet point, but people come for of all ages and gender, and it's for people that have different ability levels. It's just not for competitive swimmers. And it's whatever motivates you to come to the pool to swim, you're welcome. We're ready to help you. What are your goals, and how can we help you set new goals if you don't have ones? That's what we're here to help you do. And it's just the diversity of everything that it makes it a real melting pot of people who all want to just be swimmers and want to be better at swimming. So once again, it's the diversity. And when people at an aquatic facility think that your program is just for competitive swimmers, well, if it is, that's your choice to do that. But if you really want to be looked at in your community as a support mechanism for people wanting to swim, then you need to open it up and have every ability level have the opportunity to participate. These programs can generate revenue. Many of our programs charge a program fee, which is just a fee for them to swim at that facility with that coach in that coach's program. There's also other events that can be established to raise revenue, everything from swim lessons to clinics to swim meets and open water events. These are all ways that the local program can raise revenue to support the needs of their program, to reduce the, I want to say, to reduce the where they're only looking at program fees to cover their expenses. Successful programs find multiple sources of revenue for the benefit of the program, and also then to help pay their fees. But you can also do fundraising. Once again, it's, you can do a swimathon, you can do different ways to fundraise within the community, and then you can find sponsorships. Sponsorships is another great opportunity for you involving the community and some of your community partners, whether it's swim shops, cycling stores, running stores, wherever your swimmers or your triathletes, because remember now, all of a sudden you can be opening this up to a whole nother realm of individuals that need your program to get better at something that they're motivated to do. Once again, you're opening up some great sponsorship opportunities. You can sell merchandise. There's, is it keeping a trunk full of product in your car? Not necessarily. There's partners out there that will provide that service because that's what they do. They produce the merchandise. They logo, they'll co-brand it or they'll logo your logo on it, sell it, ship it for you. They cover their expenses, but then also can provide some revenue back to you because that's your swim store, so to speak. And grants. I mentioned our grant opportunity with our Swimming Saves Lives, now a new partnership with USA Swimming. But what grants are available within your communities? It could be as simple as a Google search of what grants are provided for your adults to get better and more physically fit. You'd be surprised what's out there. May have to do a little legwork, but take it as an opportunity to find ways to improve the revenue sources for your program. Here's that community service piece. Obviously, we're watching an adult teach another adult to swim. When we started the adult learn to swim side of this, I knew what was probably going to happen was most adults all of a sudden said, you mean I can learn from another adult versus learning from the 16-year-old lifeguard that's at my facility? And we found most adults want to learn from another adult that looks just like them, that can share the same experiences, that can have some empathy with what maybe that new swimmer is going through. So it blossomed into, wow, we're creating a community service with our programming because we're adults and we're trying to service the adult community, and it's just never been done as successfully as we've done it in the last 5 years. And we would love to expand that and be able to help you expand that within your federation as well. And integrating with other programs within that community, whether it's your age group program, the triathlon community, open water, and fitness programs, whether it's lap swimming, whether it's water aerobics. You'd be surprised. Before I'm doing this presentation today, I was at the pool and watching an aerobic water fitness program going on. I love the music, love the action, love the instructor, the enthusiasm. But at the end of the day, they never left the spot that they started in. They had fun, which is great. But what really was warming is when the pool then opened up for lap swimming, half of the people that were in that activity came over and swam. Now, whether or not that was part of their plan for the day, I think it was. But it showed that, hey, you don't have to do just one program. You can do multiple programs to become, more physically fit and have fun doing it. So. You can measure success of the program by your membership retention, how many people refer others to you, if your membership actually grows, and what kind of engagement that you find that your swimmers and your athletes are having with you and one another. And then also it could be the profitability. If you're doing this as a way to create a living. We have many masters coaches that do this and support themselves and their families with a master swimming program because they've integrated many sources of revenue, they've reduced their expenses, and they've had the goal of growing a successful program that they measure with all of these. But one of them is the profitability. So it is an opportunity for coaches, no matter where you are, to create some additional revenue, some additional income for you, for your age group program, or for maybe even your entire federation. So what are the next steps? Because I want to leave some time for some questions. Oh yeah, Nadine's already clicking on me here. Sorry, Nadine. I'll get through this quick. This is the last really slide. I think the next steps for all of us are to continue coach education. Okay, whether or not you have done this in the past in your federation, whether you just talk about it or whether you actually do it. You know, our organization, I'm proud to say, is actually doing it. We've educated close to 4,000 coaches over the last 10 years to help them become better at coaching, better at running their programs, better at supporting our organization. They're our sales force. They're the ones that are encouraging the adults to swim at the local level and then participating in activities that support our entire organization. Coach education comes in a couple forms, whether it's a classroom session like our certification program or our clinics that we do that teach adults how to develop their stroke and to be a better swimmer. We think it's important for all of us to continue our outreach to existing swim programs that may or may not have an adult side of things, and maybe it's just age group, but how do we encourage those groups to actually take on a master's program, an adult swim program, and add it to the benefit of their entire program? There's probably a lot of aquatic facilities out there. I know there are in the United States that we just don't have programming in yet. It's a work in progress. There's so many more that have them. That do have them now that didn't 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because we've reached out to them. We've shown them what the benefits of a program are, benefits to their not only their community, their facility, but the people that are using their facility, their membership. Next steps for all of us would be to continue to host events, whether it's a stroke development clinic, whether it's a swim meet. Give people the opportunity to see what we do, to find out a little bit more about us besides reading about us on a website. Give them the opportunity to participate. Maybe recruit people that are lap swimmers to volunteer at a swim meet, and maybe they'll see, hey, wait a second, there's people that are swimming slower than I swim. Maybe I should give this a try. It's not as daunting as I thought it was. Stroke development clinics. Hey, an opportunity for everyone to get better without being embarrassed, without failing at something. And then open water opportunities where making that plunge into the open water not as scary as it may be by letting people work on things in areas of the open water that maybe they can stand up in if they feel that they need that security of not being in water so deep that they can't see the bottom, that it creates that fear and anxiety that many new open water swimmers face. And then we got to ask our federations for some funding for adult swimming. Don't be afraid to ask. We have seen the success that when a federation does step up and provide coaching the opportunity to become a better coach and to engage more adults, they find that it helps improve the federation, and it helps improve the number of people that are participating, not only at the adult level, but also then at the junior level, at the age group level. A few years back, we did a clinic for coaches in Argentina. Very happy to see the support that we got. We educated close to 50 coaches during that day. Some were camera shy. But what we learned from that was this was a great opportunity to teach coaches, but they wanted the opportunity to actually practice what they learned on the pool deck. So the next year we were invited to Paraguay by FINA, and we not only educated close to 100 coaches, but we also then did a stroke development clinic and had close to 90 swimmers that participated in the clinic with the help of the coaches that we educated the day before. So close to 200 people got the opportunity to get better. because it was supported not only by the Federation, but by our swimming organizations collectively. One of our themes this year at US Masters Swimming is Stronger Together. And I would love for our entire worldwide community to look at what we can do to become stronger together and how we can improve the sport of swimming, and make it available for as many adults as possible. I'll leave you with this.
Master swimming is a journey. The journey may have started in childhood or last Saturday in a Learn to Swim program. Maybe it is yet to begin. Maybe you're waiting for an invitation. Don't let the word master scare you. Masters just means adult, 18 and over. If you've never swum, taking that first stroke can be the most difficult. You might need a handhold. For some, the daily journey begins before each dawn and peaks momentarily in individual hard-fought victories. For others, just getting to the pool is a victory every bit as sweet. Many swim because others inspire them, only to find along the way that they have become the inspiration for so many others. Some swim within the lines, seeking the comfort of a routine. Others need to break free and push the boundaries. Some started on a quest for better health, only to discover that swimming is the fountain of youth. Your companions on this journey will become more important than you could ever imagine, and all will have their own reasons for swimming. Master swimming is a journey, and you're invited.
All right. Nadine, I think, is going to help us with maybe some of the questions that our
Yes.
participants have.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Bill, for doing this. We disabled the chat function and the Q&A when we switched to the Zoom conference. So what we would ask you to do, even for any of the sessions that we have today and tomorrow, the email you got to click to the Zoom link, respond to that specific email with any of the questions that you might have on that specific topic, and we will respond to you in regards to those questions that you have. We have just like one question, time allowing right now due to the time constraints. Well, but we have Mel Goldstein, who is the chair of the UANA Masters Technical Committee here. And I'm seeing if he wanted to say anything and add anything to this. But we appreciate the UANA Executive Committee and the Virtual Aquatic Convention organizers for allowing a section of Master Swimming to be presented and having the wide range of presenters. It's been an amazing experience. And thank you very much. Mel, do you want to say anything?
Only thing, Bill, you did a fabulous job, and we hope that all federations will start a master's program within their federation, and can realize some of the things that Bill brought out with regards to additional revenue for you and swimming for life. And one of the things that I thought when I listened to Naomi today talking about mental health, she was talking about once the elites tend to retire from being an elite, master swimming would be an ideal, great transition going into your regular life and not swimming. So I hope everybody will definitely consider master swimming or adult swimming as a great program, and that federations will try to put together some funding for that particular program. Only other really quick thing is that we're still going forward with our Pan American Masters Championships in Medellin, Colombia, May 20th to 27th, and we hope that see everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Maureen and Chris, and thanks Bill. Be safe.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Nadine. Before everyone goes, just a quick reminder to fill out the feedback form that we will send out to you a few days after this convention. We'd love to hear your feedback and hear your thoughts. And please, if you have any questions, and reply to that meeting invite you got, and we'll find a way to get you an answer. Thanks again, and have a good rest of your day.
Good night.